You're not seeing my shoe, are you? I wasn't prepared for this. Tony just called us 30 minutes ago.
Kurt, don't lean in at all, please. Don't lean in.
Don't brag.
I wasn't.
No. Just don't.
Don't do anything.
I'm not moving. I'm not going to move. I'll just act relaxed. Okay.
What exactly do you want?
Was a lot of this
asking Kurt that you do like a little setup, like an introduction that you're sitting here with George Harrison.
Stand by, Kurt. 4, 3, 2.
Hi, I'm sitting here with George Harrison, or Nelson Wilbury, I suppose, as you'll be better known soon. George, explain to us the genesis of the Wilburys, if you could.
It's one of those things that I think had you tried to plan it, it would never have happened. It just happened by its own accord.
Like one night, you guys were just
it
all
was
sitting
actually April the 4th this year. Mm-hmm. I was asked by my record company to give them an extra song to put on a 12-inch extended single for Germany and Great Britain, which I didn't have any extra tunes recorded at the time, so I just thought, well, I'll go in tomorrow, go in a studio someplace, and I'll just write one and do it then. It's only a seaside, like a... So, they want this extra song. So I was having dinner with Jeff Lynne. He was having dinner with Roy Orbison. And I said to Jeff, do you feel like coming along? And he said, sure. Roy Orbison said, well, if you do something, give me a call. I went round to Tom Petty's house to pick up my guitar, which was at his house. And he said, oh, I was wondering what I was going to do tomorrow. And in the meantime, we were, with such short notice, I didn't know of any studio I could find that quickly. Yeah. So I called Bob. And he said, sure, come on over. He's just got a little tape machine in his garage. So we went over, and I just made part of the tune up that morning. We went to his house. Jeff and I sat in the garden, finished the tune off. I went in, put it down, wrote the lyrics all together, and mixed it. We did it all. It was all written and done in one day.
How do you write the lyrics all together with like 5 guys in the room? Is that present any difficulties?
It was 5 guys in the garden, actually. We were sitting out in the garden. It was really good. I mean, it just happened that, you know, I got a piece of paper and a pencil, and I said, okay, come on. It's all these great writers now. Let's have some lyrics. And they were all saying, well, what's it about? What's it called? And I just kept looking around for a clue of what it was called. And I saw this cardboard box behind the garage door, and it said, Handle with Care. I said, it's called Handle with Care. He said, yeah, okay, that sounds good. And then it was easy. It just started, you know, being beat up and battered around, and somebody else said something else, and that was it. It was written and recorded just on April the 5th.
Was this such a great experience that you decided immediately that you should go ahead and go after an album?
No, I took it to the record company and said, well, there's the extra song for the German market. And they said, oh God, we can't, you know, it's too good to just throw away like that. So they didn't want to use it.
The Germans wouldn't be happy to hear about that. You know?
So I just had hold of this song for a couple of weeks, and I thought, well, I can't think of what to do with it. I can't put it out as a single for me. It's not on my album. Yeah. So I thought, well, maybe they'd like to do another 9 tracks. And I asked the other guys, and they said, sure. So we got together in May, and we did it based on the theory that if we could write one tune and record it in one day, then maybe we could write another 9 and record them. So we did that. We just got together and we just sat down and we wrote a tune, we put it down on tape, wrote another one, and we did it like that quick. Then later, Jeff Lynne and myself took the tapes and started overdubbing on it, put bass and drums and various instruments on it, but basically it was all written and done instantly.
Is there any common sound to all this stuff, or just certain people come to the fore on certain tracks and others?
Yeah, there's tunes that Bob had the most influence on. It sounds like him, and there's a song which we wrote specifically for Roy, which is very much like an old kind of Roy Orbison song. But it's the album, it's not like we tried to set out to do something that wasn't like going and buying an album of mine or
Yeah.
ELO or Tom Petty, Bob Dylan or Roy Orbison. We tried to combine everything, and it's worked very well.
What is this going to be, could you describe this music to someone who hasn't heard it, myself?
Well, I think it's basically it's very up music. It's very, very up. You know, that is to say, it's danceable, if you like to dance. But, yeah, it's fun. It's just really good, fun music. It says some funny things, and the sound of it, because we all basically tend to dislike computers, and so it's very wooden. I mean, it's the first band that I can think of that's got 5 rhythm guitar players.
But Jeff, too, I imagine you'd be adding something in there.
Yeah, we've added touches here and there, but we've tried to keep it, you know, more or less like it was as we wrote it and did it. It's polished off a bit, but not too much.
Is there some story behind the name of the Wilburys that you could perhaps let us in on?
That was last year when Jeff Lynne and myself were doing Cloud 9. I don't know, we probably had too many drinks. We were just talking about something, and this came out, the Traveling Wilburys, suddenly.
Trembling Wilburys?
Yeah. And then it turned into the Traveling Wilburys, and that was it. It was forgotten about, really. And when we recorded this song, you know, I just said to Jeff, this is it. This is the Traveling Wilburys video.
Is there a storyline in the video you could tell us about, or how did the idea come up?
The story to the video is that there's these 5 guys singing a song around a microphone. And I don't think you need much more of a story than that.
How true.
Each person in it has their own story.
It's good for me. Is it good for anyone else out there? Let's ask in the control room. They'll talk back to us.
We love that.